John Richards stood at the viewport of the shuttle, watching as Earth grew smaller behind him. At 52, with gray streaks in his brown hair, he never imagined becoming humanity's first ambassador to the stars. His blue diplomatic uniform felt tight around the collar as nervousness set in. "Nervous, sir?" asked Lisa Martinez, his aide. The 35-year-old former intelligence analyst had sharp eyes that missed nothing. "Wouldn't you be? First contact was just 3 months ago. Now we're heading to meet an entire galactic council," John replied. The message had arrived without warning. Signals beamed to Earth's major observatories, translated into every major language. The Galactic Council, a federation of 27 spacefaring civilizations, invited humanity to join their ranks. "Remember the briefing, sir. Show confidence. They respect strength," Lisa said, checking her tablet. "The president is counting on us to secure favorable terms." The journey took 12 days aboard the alien vessel that collected them from Earth orbit. The council representatives, a tall, willowy being named Kelzar and a squat reptilian called Urix, were polite but reserved, answering questions with practiced diplomatic phrases. "We have watched your species for some time," Kelzar had explained. "Your development has reached the threshold for inclusion." The council station orbited a distant star, a massive ring structure teeming with ships and beings from across the galaxy. John felt his heart race as they docked. Centuries of science fiction hadn't prepared humanity for the real thing. In the grand meeting chamber, representatives from all 27 council species gathered. Some floated in special tanks, others needed breathing apparatus, many looked almost human. John approached the central podium with steady steps, determined not to show fear. "Humanity is honored by your invitation," John began. "We come seeking friendship and knowledge." Council President Zax Nor, a blue-skinned humanoid with 4 arms, nodded respectfully. "The Council welcomes Earth. We offer technology, protection, and equal standing among the stars." The terms seemed generous, sharing of faster-than-light travel technology, medical advancements, energy systems beyond Earth's dreams. In exchange, humanity would follow Council trade regulations and contribute to joint scientific research. "This marks a new chapter for your species," Zax Nor announced. "Today, Earth joins the galactic community." The formal signing ceremony lasted hours. John felt dizzy with possibility as he pressed his thumb to the document scanner, officially bringing Earth into the Council. Later, while John and Lisa celebrated with a meal in their quarters, something very different was happening in a secure chamber elsewhere on the station. "The containment parameters are established," Zax Nor asked, 4 arms folded across his chest. "Yes, President," Durix replied. "Humans will receive only Level 3 technology transfers, nothing that would enable true independence." "Their development rate concerns me," added Kelzar. "They progressed from combustion engines to crewed space travel in under a century." Zax Nor nodded gravely. "The predictive models classify them as a danger species. Their adaptability exceeds safety thresholds." "What of their resources?" asked another council member. "Rich," replied Durix, "especially biological diversity and rare minerals. The extraction schedule begins next cycle." "And they suspect nothing?" Zax Nor asked. "They are primitive but intelligent," Kelzar cautioned. "We must be careful." Back on Earth, celebrations erupted worldwide. News broadcasts showed parades in major cities. Political leaders gave speeches about humanity's bright future among the stars. In his temporary quarters, John reviewed the signed agreements, feeling uneasy about certain clauses. The wording seemed oddly restrictive about Earth's expansion rights. "Lisa," he called, "did you notice Section 12B refers to appropriate development pathways?" She frowned, looking at her copy. "And Article 27 mentions supervised integration." Strange phrasing. "Could be translation issues," John suggested, not entirely convinced. "Maybe," Lisa replied, making notes. "I'll flag these for clarification." Neither realized they had just spotted the first threads of a massive deception, one that would eventually push humanity to fight for its very survival. 5 years had passed since Earth joined the Galactic Council. The initial excitement had faded, replaced by growing frustration. Alan Brooks paced the military briefing room at Luna Base, his colonel's insignia fresh on his uniform. At 40 years old, he had the weathered face of someone who had seen too much. He gestured at the display showing rejected colony applications. "That's the 12th denial this month," he told the assembled officers. "Every time we apply to settle a new system, the Council finds some reason to block us." Captain Nancy Ford nodded. "Always the same excuses. Environmental assessment pending or cultural preservation zones." Meanwhile, 3 Council species have established new colonies this year alone, Alan said bitterly. Across the solar system, in a research lab on Mars, Dr. Kate Wilson was reaching similar conclusions. She pushed her red hair from her face as she compared the schematics of the engines the Council had provided to Earth versus those used by Council ships. "Look at this," she said to her assistant, pointing at her screen. "Our engine specifications are missing critical components. They're giving us hobbled technology." Her assistant, Ben Clark, leaned closer. Could it be a mistake in the technical documents? Kate shook her head. "I found the same pattern in their medical technology transfers, communication systems, everything. It's deliberate." On Earth, former Ambassador John Richards met with Lisa Martinez in a secure room beneath Geneva. Both had left official diplomatic service, disillusioned by what they had discovered. "The trade agreements have been a disaster," Lisa said, sliding data tablets across the table. "Earth exports rare minerals, biological samples, and art treasures. In return, we get technology that's generations behind what the Council actually uses." John rubbed his tired eyes. "And no one wants to hear it. The Council's representatives have the ear of every world government." "That's not all," Lisa added. "Look at this." She showed him surveillance images of what the Council called a protective fleet in Earth orbit. "These ships aren't positioned to protect Earth from external threats," she explained. "Their weapons are aimed at us. It's a blockade." Outside the window, a Council cultural exchange center dominated the Geneva skyline. Similar centers had been built in every major city on Earth. Most people saw them as symbols of galactic friendship. In Washington, D.C., the United Nations Secretary General met with Council Representative Kelzar. "My government is concerned about the slow pace of technology sharing," the Secretary General said carefully. Kelzar's expression remained neutral. "Earth must develop at an appropriate pace. Too much advancement too quickly could be destabilizing." "We've upheld every term of our agreement," the Secretary General protested. "Of course," Kelzar replied smoothly. "And the Council is proud of humanity's progress. Perhaps in another decade, we can revisit the colonization question." As the meeting ended, the Secretary General couldn't help noticing the slight condescension in Kelzar's tone, something increasingly common in Council interactions. In a basement bar in Sydney, Eric Dawson met with other disaffected former officials. Once a mid-level diplomat, Eric now led what they carefully avoided calling a resistance. "We have confirmation," he told the small group. "The shipment of medical supplies to our Mars colony was half what was promised. Meanwhile, Council mining operations in our asteroid belt have doubled." "We're being bled dry," a former economic advisor said. "And divided," Eric added. "The Council is playing governments against each other. European Union is competing with the Pacific Alliance for Council favor. Both are being exploited." Back in Geneva, John and Lisa walked through the night streets, speaking in whispers despite their signal jammers. "We need to consolidate what we know," John said. "Find hard evidence of their intentions." Lisa nodded. "I have a contact in their central database. It's risky, but we need to know what the Council really plans for humanity." "Whatever it is," John replied grimly, "I doubt it includes the equal partnership they promised." Above them, Council ships moved in silent formation, their lights blinking like cold, distant stars. Lisa Martinez's fingers moved quickly over the alien interface. She sat in a small room within the Council's Earth embassy, sweat beading on her forehead. The security badge she wore, cloned from a sympathetic maintenance worker, would only fool the systems for 20 minutes. "Hurry," whispered John Richards through her earpiece. He was in a service corridor, watching for patrols. Lisa navigated through layers of security, using access codes obtained through months of careful observation. Council databases were vast, organized in ways that still felt foreign to human minds. "I'm in," she said quietly, accessing restricted files now. What she found made her blood run cold. Documents classified as species management protocols detailed the Council's true plans for Earth. Humanity had never been invited as equals. The entire First Contact had been carefully orchestrated deception. "John," she said, voice shaking, "they classified us as a containment species from the beginning. Earth was never going to receive full membership." She downloaded files rapidly to her hidden storage device. The documents revealed a familiar pattern. The Council had done this before to at least 8 other civilizations. Species deemed too adaptable or aggressive were contained, their resources harvested, their development stunted until they could be safely controlled or replaced. "They're afraid of us," Lisa realized, scanning a psychological assessment. "Our rate of adaptation and technological innovation exceeds their safety parameters." The final document made her gasp. The 300-year plan for Earth outlined gradual resource depletion, technological stagnation, and eventually, controlled extinction, as humans were to be replaced by more stable species in Earth's biosphere. "Someone's coming," John warned suddenly. Lisa disconnected, hiding her device just as the door opened. A Council security officer, a tall, mantis-like being, stood in the doorway. "Human," it clicked in its translator. "This area is restricted." "Sorry," Lisa smiled, showing her badge. "Maintenance check on the environmental systems." The officer's compound eyes studied her badge, then her face. No maintenance was scheduled. Lisa knew immediately that her cover was blown. She pressed a small device in her pocket that sent an alert to John. 3 days later, Eric Dawson received a package at a drop point in Buenos Aires. Inside was Lisa's storage device and a hastily written note. "Council security onto us. Evidence attached. Going underground. Share with trusted networks only." Eric brought the device to Kate Wilson's hidden lab beneath an abandoned mining facility in Australia. Kate and Colonel Brooks were already waiting. "Lisa and John?" Kate asked. Eric shook his head. "No contact since the embassy. Council forces raided their apartments. They're either captured or in hiding." Kate connected the device to her isolated system and began examining the files. Her face grew paler with each document. "This confirms everything we suspected," she said finally. "The technology they gave us was deliberately flawed. The real versions are centuries beyond what we received." Colonel Brooks studied the military assessments. "They've been monitoring our response capabilities, testing our defenses through joint exercises. What's worse," Kate continued, "is their timeline. They've been patient because they think they have centuries to gradually diminish us. They don't expect meaningful resistance." Eric pointed to a section detailing Council weaknesses. Lisa managed to get their internal security assessments. "They believe their technological superiority makes them untouchable." "That's their mistake," Kate said, determination hardening her voice. "I've been reverse engineering their tech for 3 years. Without their restrictions, we can make greater advances than they imagined possible." Colonel Brooks nodded. "My people have been training with what we've learned. We're better than they think." Eric pulled up a global map showing hidden resistance cells. "We need to coordinate. Get this information to Earth's governments without alerting Council surveillance." "Some will resist believing it," Kate warned. "The Council has embedded advisors in every major government." "Then we start with those we trust," Colonel Brooks said. "Military leaders who've seen the pattern, scientists who've noticed the discrepancies." Eric nodded, looking at the faces of his companions. Lisa and John sacrificed everything to get us this information. We can't waste it. We won't, Kate promised, already examining the Council's technical specifications with new understanding. Operation Phoenix begins now. 3 years of silence followed. To the Council, humanity appeared to accept its place. Earth governments filed their regular reports. Human representatives attended Council functions with appropriate deference. Resource shipments continued as scheduled. Beneath this compliant surface, Operation Phoenix took root and grew. In an abandoned iron mine beneath the Australian outback, Kate Wilson stood before a gleaming spacecraft, unlike anything officially in Earth's arsenal. The vessel, codenamed Firebird, incorporated Council technology that had been completely reimagined by human engineers. The quantum drive is stable, Kate explained to Eric Dawson as they walked around the ship. We've improved the efficiency by 340% over the design they gave us. They never expected us to understand the underlying principles, Eric said, admiring the seamless hull. How many can we build? The hidden shipyards in the asteroid belt have completed 27, Kate replied, with more coming online each month. Colonel Brooks has 7 yards operating in the Kuiper Belt, completely off Council scanning grids. Meanwhile, in a training facility beneath Europa's ice, Colonel Alan Brooks, now General Brooks, watched as his Special Forces units practiced with advanced weapons. The soldiers moved in zero gravity with precision, using combat suits that could deflect Council energy weapons. Again, Brooks ordered as the exercise ended, 15 seconds faster this time. His second-in-command, Major Olivia Chen, approached with a data tablet. Supply shipment from Mars arrived. The new shield generators are exceeding expectations. Brooks nodded with satisfaction, and Council oversight. Still following their regular patrol patterns, Olivia replied. They'd grown complacent. Their monitoring stations are understaffed. The most dangerous work happened in plain sight. In Geneva, a Council trade delegation met with Earth officials to discuss increasing resource quotas. The human representatives nodded agreeably while secretly sending encoded messages through seemingly innocent hand gestures and speech patterns. These messages reached John Richards and Lisa Martinez, now operating from a hidden base on Pluto's moon Charon. Both had undergone surgery to alter their appearances after narrowly escaping Council assassins. The diversion of resources is complete, Lisa said, studying incoming reports. 30% of Earth's supposed shipments to the Council are actually going to Phoenix facilities. John examined the galactic map showing Council patrol routes. Their security is focused outward. They're watching for external threats, not expecting us to build a fleet right under their noses. The Phoenix Protocol spread through carefully vetted networks. Military officers, scientists, engineers, government officials who could be trusted. Each knew only their part of the plan. On Mars, Governor Patricia Reynolds officially welcomed Council inspectors to a manufacturing facility producing approved technologies. The inspectors never noticed the hidden doors leading to underground levels where prohibited research continued around the clock. Everything seems in order, the lead inspector noted, a spider-like being with multiple eyes that missed the humans exchanging knowing glances. We value our partnership with the Council, Patricia replied with a practiced smile. In a Council boardroom light years from Earth, President Zach Noor received the quarterly assessment of humanity's containment. Human development remains within acceptable parameters, reported Durix. Their space presence is limited to approved stations. Resource extraction proceeds on schedule. Any signs of resistance? Zach Noor inquired. Minor incidents only, Kelzar answered. Some fringe groups spread conspiracy theories, but they have little influence. Most humans have accepted their place. Excellent. Zach Noor's 4 arms made a gesture of satisfaction. In another generation, they will forget they ever dreamed of true independence. Back on Charon base, final preparations were underway. Hidden communication relays were activated. Sleeper agents in every human settlement received their activation codes. General Brooks addressed his commanders through secure channels. Phoenix Forces, final readiness check. We launch in 72 hours. John Richards looked at Lisa Martinez. After 3 years of preparation, is humanity ready? Ready or not? Lisa replied. The Council is about to discover just how badly they underestimated us. The attack began with silence. Throughout the solar system, Council monitoring stations suddenly lost contact with each other. No alarms, no distress signals, just complete communication blackout. At Lunar Security Station 1, the Council overseer Grax checked his systems in confusion. The sleek, gray-skinned alien tapped the console with long fingers. Diagnostics show no malfunction, he told his subordinates. Yet we've lost contact with 15 outposts simultaneously. Before anyone could respond, the doors slid open. General Brooks walked in with 12 soldiers in advanced combat armor. This facility is now under human control, Brooks announced calmly. Surrender and you will not be harmed. Grax reached for the emergency beacon, but found the system unresponsive. How had humans disabled Council technology? His security team raised their weapons, but human soldiers were already positioned at every exit. Impossible, Grax whispered. Your species lacks the capability to. We've had that capability for some time, Brooks interrupted. We simply chose when to reveal it. Similar scenes played out across the solar system. Council facilities fell one by one, their superior technology rendered useless by human countermeasures developed in secret. In Earth orbit, the Council's protective fleet found itself surrounded by ships that had seemingly appeared from nowhere. The Firebird vessels, with their revolutionary stealth systems, had moved into position days earlier, invisible to Council sensors. Captain Susan Rogers commanded the lead human vessel. Council flagship, this is Captain Rogers of Earth Defense Force. Power down your weapons systems immediately. On the Council bridge, Commander Vexlar stared at his tactical display in disbelief. Where had these ships come from? Human technology was supposed to be centuries behind Council standards. Impossible, he sputtered. These readings must be wrong. His tactical officer, equally stunned, shook her head. Sensors confirmed 27 human vessels with energy signatures exceeding our own. They've locked weapons on all critical systems. Beyond Neptune, the hidden shipyards activated, launching dozens more vessels toward the outer system. Council outposts, caught completely unprepared, surrendered with minimal resistance. From his command center on Karen, John Richards broadcast a message to every Council facility and ship in the solar system. His face, though altered by surgery, carried the same determination he had shown years ago as ambassador. Attention all Council forces. For 8 years, humanity has endured your deception and exploitation. Today, we reclaim our independence. We have disabled your communications network. Your weapons systems are targeted. Surrender, and you will be safely escorted to neutral territory. As the message played, Lisa Martinez activated the final phase. Every Council communication system in the galaxy simultaneously received a data package containing evidence of the Council's betrayal, not just of humanity, but of multiple species across the stars. On the Council homeworld, President Zax Nor was awakened by panicked aides. Impossible, he shouted, all 4 arms gesturing in agitation. How could primitives overcome our technology? His chief security officer displayed the tactical situation. The humans have control of their entire system. Our forces are surrounded. And worse, they've broadcast our containment protocols to every member world. Containment protocols are classified. Zax Nor protested. How could they access such information? Back in the solar system, the Council's main fleet attempted to regroup near Jupiter. They expected an easy victory once they consolidated their forces. Instead, they encountered Kate Wilson's greatest achievement. The quantum disruption field struck without warning. Council ships found their drives and weapons suddenly inoperable as the field altered the quantum signatures their technology relied upon. Human vessels, designed with different principles, remained unaffected. All Council vessels, General Brooks transmitted. Your drives will remain disabled until you power down weapons. This is not negotiable. Within hours, the last Council resistance in the solar system ended. Council personnel were detained in comfortable but secure facilities. Their ships were impounded and studied by eager human engineers. On Earth, people gathered around screens watching the news with astonishment. Most had no idea of the years of preparation that had made this moment possible. Eric Dawson addressed the United Nations General Assembly. Today marks humanity's true independence, but our work is just beginning. The Council has subjugated many species. We will offer them the same freedom we have claimed for ourselves. Ships were already departing for the nearest human-friendly star systems, carrying the promise of alliance against Council oppression. The Council chamber on Nexus Prime hummed with angry voices. Delegates from 23 species argued loudly as emergency alerts continued to flood in from across the galaxy. 6 months had passed since humanity's rebellion, and the situation had grown worse for the Council with each passing day. 3 more systems lost this week, announced Kelzar, now promoted to High Commander after Zaxanor's disgrace. The Talarian colonies have declared independence and allied with the humans. How is this possible? Demanded a reptilian delegate, slamming a clawed hand on the table. We outmatch them in every category: numbers, territory, technology. Apparently not technology, replied Durix bitterly. Human adaptability has proven problematic. On the view screen, footage showed a massive space battle near the Cygnus Gateway. Council warships, once the unchallenged masters of the galaxy, struggled against smaller but more nimble human vessels. The human ships moved in unpredictable patterns, their weapons striking with devastating precision. Their ships shouldn't be capable of those maneuvers, a Council admiral protested. The gravitational forces would kill organic pilots. They're not using pilots, explained a technical advisor. At least, not in the conventional sense. Human neural interfaces allow their captains to control ships as extensions of their bodies. Across the room, a hologram activated. The image of General Alan Brooks appeared, now wearing the uniform of the Allied Defense Force. A coalition of human and liberated alien forces. Council representatives, Brooks began, his voice calm but firm. Your fleet at Cygnus Gateway has surrendered. We offer the same terms as before: withdrawal from occupied systems and recognition of independence for all species seeking self-determination. Kelzer's skin flushed dark with anger. You overestimate your position, human. Your rebellion has had some success, but the Council still controls 90% of galactic territory. Brooks smiled slightly. For now. But each day, more species join our alliance. Your own member worlds are beginning to question centuries of Council policy. After the transmission ended, the chamber erupted again in argument. The truth was becoming impossible to deny. Humanity was winning. In the Orion Arm, Kate Wilson supervised the installation of quantum disruption fields around the newly liberated Pax system. 3 insectoid species that had lived under Council protection for centuries now prepared for true independence. Will this shield hold against Council counterattacks? Asked Zithrak, leader of the local resistance. Kate nodded confidently. Their technology relies on quantum principles they've used for millennia. They never needed to innovate beyond them until now. And they're struggling to adapt. On a former Council fortress world, Eric Dawson met with representatives from 17 species. Some had been Council members. Others had been subjugated like humanity. All now recognized the need for a new galactic order. The Alliance of Independent Species welcomes you, Eric told the assembled delegates. Unlike the Council, we offer true partnership, equal standing, shared technology, mutual defense. A delegate with translucent skin and glowing internal organs spoke hesitantly. The Council warned that humans would destroy galactic stability, that your species is inherently aggressive. John Richards, now leading diplomatic efforts, stepped forward. The Council confused independence with aggression. Yes, we fight when threatened. But look around this room. We share technology freely. We help liberate rather than conquer. Lisa Martinez displayed evidence of Council manipulation spanning centuries. They classified any species with rapid adaptation abilities as dangerous. Their stability came through suppression, not cooperation. Back on the battlefront, human innovation continued to outpace Council responses. Colonel Olivia Chen, commanding the flagship Freedom, deployed the newest weapon in the human arsenal, an electromagnetic pulse specifically tuned to Council neural networks. Target their command ships only, she ordered as her fleet engaged a Council armada twice their size. Disable, don't destroy. The pulse fired, and Council command vessels suddenly drifted powerless. Without central coordination, their rigid battle formations fell into chaos. They never adapted to decentralized command, Olivia explained to her bridge crew. Each captain waits for orders rather than showing initiative. The battle ended in hours, with minimal casualties on either side. Another Council fleet surrendered, another system liberated. On Nexus Prime, the Council chamber grew quieter as reports of defeat continued to arrive. The rebellion they had dismissed as hopeless was becoming an unstoppable revolution. Durix, looking at the strategic display showing lost territory, voiced what many now thought. Perhaps we should consider their terms. The signing ceremony took place on neutral ground, a space station orbiting a young star where no species had yet claimed territory. 2 years of conflict had transformed the galaxy's political landscape forever. John Richards, now bearing the title of High Representative, led the human delegation. His face showed new lines, earned through countless negotiations and difficult decisions. Beside him stood Eric Dawson, Lisa Martinez, General Brooks, and Kate Wilson, the core group that had turned humanity's darkest hour into its greatest triumph. The Council representatives are arriving, Lisa informed them, checking her data tablet. The Council delegation was smaller than in previous eras. Many member species had withdrawn to join the new alliance of independent species. Those remaining approached with noticeably less arrogance than before. Acting Council President Kelzar led them, flanked by Durix and several others. Their body language spoke volumes. These were no longer conquerors, but survivors seeking terms. Representatives of Earth and the Alliance. Kelzar began formally. We are prepared to sign the Treaty of New Beginnings as negotiated. The treaty's terms were displayed on screens throughout the station. Council forces would withdraw from all disputed systems. All species would have the right to self-determination. Technology sharing would be open and reciprocal. A new galactic governance system would replace the old council, with equal representation regardless of a species' age or development level. The past cannot be undone, John said as he prepared to sign. But the future can be built differently, not through deception and control, but through genuine cooperation. Kelzar signed with visible reluctance. The Council still believes some guidance is necessary for younger species. Guidance is welcome, Eric replied. Exploitation is not. That distinction will define our new relationship. As the treaty took effect, changes rippled across the galaxy. Former Council enforcers withdrew from occupied worlds. Trade routes reopened without restrictive regulations. Species that had been isolated from each other began cultural exchanges without Council interpretation. On Earth, celebrations filled the streets of every city. Humanity had not only survived, but helped forge a new galactic order. The first wave of genuine colony ships departed for distant stars, no longer needing Council permission to expand. Kate Wilson accepted the position of Chief Science Officer for the Alliance. Her first official act was to establish open technology exchanges between all member species. Innovation comes from diversity, she explained at the opening of the new Galactic Science Academy. The Council feared this. We embrace it. General Brooks, now overseeing the transition to a volunteer defense force, watched as former enemies trained together. Trust builds slowly, he told his officers, but shared purpose accelerates the process. In the New Alliance chamber on Terra Nova, the first human colony beyond the solar system, former Council President Zack Snor stood trial for crimes against sentient beings. The four-armed alien appeared diminished, his once proud bearing now hunched and defensive. The Council acted to preserve stability, he insisted during testimony, by deceiving and exploiting those you claim to welcome. Lisa Martinez asked, leading the prosecution. The evidence shows systematic oppression spanning centuries. The verdict surprised many. Rather than punishment, Zack Snor was sentenced to work alongside the species he had helped subjugate, assisting in rebuilding worlds the Council had exploited. Justice without vengeance, John explained to reporters. We break the cycle by demonstrating a better path. 1 year after the treaty signing, John visited a small colony on the edge of Alliance space. Children from 12 different species played together in fields beneath a golden sun. Among them were humans, their laughter blending with sounds made by beings with very different biological origins. A young teacher, one of the insectoid beings from the Pax system, approached John. Representative Richards, the children have a question for you. The diverse group gathered around, curious faces looking up at the human who had helped reshape their universe. Is it true, asked a small human girl with bright eyes, that different species weren't allowed to share knowledge before? John knelt to meet her gaze. Yes, the old council believed that keeping species separate made the galaxy safer. That's silly, declared a young reptilian child. My best friend is human, and she helped me understand mathematics. John smiled, feeling the weight of the past few years lifting. Yes, it was silly. And now we know better. In the Galactic Archives, once restricted to Council officials only, a final update was made to humanity's classification. The original entry, Danger Species, Containment Recommended, was replaced with new text. Founding Guardians of the Alliance of Independent Species. Lisa Martinez, overseeing the archive transition, smiled as she approved the change. From contained to containment breakers, she mused. The Council's greatest fear became their salvation. And across the stars, a new era began, built not on fear and control, but on the principles of mutual respect that humanity had always sought among the stars.